This is my first watch. Purchased it with my own money right out of high school. 1988. The original Casio G-Shock. I think unarguably the toughest watch ever built. Had this watch a long time. And up until recently, actually, about 3 months ago, it worked flawlessly. Changed a few batteries in it, but as you see there, I damaged the screen and water got into it and destroyed the liquid crystal display. This was a wonderful watch, and I thought that this is something I probably have forever. And I did like it, but there was a lot of things I didn't like about it. I didn't like, well, I guess I don't like digital watches. I don't like digital watches because there's not enough contrast between the LCD or the gray background, the two monochrome grays against each other. There is not enough of a contrast. I find them difficult to read, especially when you get out in sunlight. Also, these watches, these Casio G-Shocks, if you wear them with the original bands, the bands are quite terrible. They're uncomfortable. They slide around on your wrist. They never break in. They're made out of purely rubber, kind of a synthetic material. And then, the buttons get pushed and it changes the mode. And when you're really in a situation where you just want the time, sometimes it doesn't work. So I understand the argument. I mean, and for the money, it's an incredibly durable watch and tough. But sometimes it's not always about the practical. Sometimes there's just things that you like. And I like more traditional style watches. I like the contrast of the face. I like the dials. I like the mechanical nature of it. So I have been, as of late, well, I've always in my life, I've kind of always enjoyed watches, but I've been on a quest to find the perfect watch because I'm at a stage in my life now with wildland firefighting. I need a reliable watch. It's important for many reasons. We're not going to get into that. So we're going to do a little history of my watches, and I have most of them here. I'll share with you and what I liked, and we're going to finish this at the end because I think I may have found what I consider to be about the perfect ideal watch for a reasonable price. Come number two. Number two watch was, this was in my years when I thought needed to be a little bit fancy. And the internet was brand new, and I was a bit naive. Omega? I thought, man, Omega watches are cool. Is that what James Bond wore? The Seamaster. Waterproof, manual, wind. See if it still works. Omega. Boy, I thought this was cool. But being not very savvy on the internet, I realized that I had bought a forgery with a plastic crystal. And of course, it didn't keep time, and the crystal has a crack in it, and that was pretty well short-lived. So, into the watch number two. Watch number three was a Tag Heuer. Ooh, I saved money for it. I thought that, this is going to be the watch. This is I'm going to have. I did wear it for a couple of years, and in my first wildland fire, it was the metal bracelet. It broke, and I lost it. Somewhere in the forest, it's sitting in the dirt. The watch after that, I don't have as well. It was a Luminox. Boy, I thought when I heard the Navy SEALs were wearing the Luminox, I thought, that was a great watch. Well, within about a month, the bezel fell off, and the band broke again on a wildland fire. I lost two watches on wildland fire. I was never impressed with that watch. I think there was a lot of hype about that. So fast forward. So then I went back and I wore my G-Shock for a long time, and then came one of my favorites, the Marathon. This is a beautiful watch. I love this watch. Every time I wear it in videos, I get a lot of comments on it. And interesting thing. So this is a fine watch. It's expensive. It's in the automatic. An automatic watch, if you don't know, inside has a movement, and it's a counterbalance. It's got a balance or kind of a weight in there. And as you move, you can feel it moving around in there. It self-winds. So if you continue to move and you work and all that, it always winds. That's the style of a Rolex. Interesting thing about Swiss watches, you may or may not know. Of course, Swiss produce the finest mechanical watches in the world, and they have very, very strict laws governing those. If you look on the bottom of your watch, I might not see it there. Let me see. I'm going to have to turn the focus on here. if you look on the bottom of the watch, all of these will be the same. Right underneath there, it will say Swiss. If it says Swiss made, that means that 100% of the components of the movement, meaning the mechanism inside, is Swiss made. And not only that, but it also, if memory serves, it needs to be set in the case in Switzerland as well. If it says Swiss made on the bottom, those things have to be in compliance. Because watch manufacturers, I mean, there's a million of them out there, and they make their own bezels, and they make their own dials, and their arms, and their cases, and all these things. But really, there's not, I mean, most of them are going to be using, they're not going to make their own movements. I mean, who can do that? I mean, that's highly, highly specialized work. And so there are many of these movements, like inside here, inside the marathon, is just a high quality Swiss movement that may be found in many, many different watches. I mean, there are some companies that make their own. I mean, Rolex, for example, is the gold standard of automatic watches. Interesting thing about Rolex. So most people will tell you when you buy an automatic watch like this that you'll need to have it serviced about every 5 years. I think everyone agrees on that. They'll have to send it in. It'll have to go back to Switzerland, and it'll have to be all taken out and repairs made for items that are worn and cleanings and everything set right. And that is going to set you back at least $200 to $250. So know that going into mind. You know, you might think, well, I want an automatic watch. It'll last me the rest of my life. But there is an annual, well, there's a cost to that. There's cost to running a lot more than a quartz watch. A quartz watch is going to be a watch runs off a battery. And the batteries are inexpensive. I mean, you can have the guy at the mall change the battery, right? Probably do it yourself. So interesting thing about Rolex is Rolex offers a 5-year guarantee on their watch, and they say their watches don't have to be serviced but once every 10 years. But you could probably look at between $500 to $1,000 to service one, I would imagine. Interesting though. So this movement inside the marathon is a high quality, good movement. I would, from what I understand, is kind of the Toyota Camry of movements, very durable. And this watch has been exceedingly durable. I've worn it on multiple years in fires. I've worn it while doing construction, and it is incredibly durable and incredibly tough. Sapphire crystal. Your best watches are going to have a sapphire crystal for the cover on the top, and that is good because it's the second hardest material next to a diamond. And the really good sapphire crystals, if you get in the light just right, sometimes you can see that little blue tinge on there. And this, of course, has the cyclops there to help you read the date, which is appreciated from me. Always like that. Some guys don't like that, but I like it. You can have these added on to any watch that has a flat surface. The jeweler can add that on there. They use an epoxy and glue them on. I think the Rolexes, they're cut in, and those are really special. Screw down bezel, very, very durable. So why wasn't this that I'm going on and on? I mean, you could tell I really like this watch. Why was this not the perfect watch? Well, it is not the perfect watch because for daily use, it's just too big. It's too heavy. It's not a comfortable watch to wear. But it is the watch that I will grab to wear to go on my wildland fires. That's what I want, the durability, and it has been tough. I mean, there isn't anything tougher. As far as next to a G-Shock, I don't know of anything out there that is big and as robust as this. I mean, it's big. It's bigger than a Submariner. So what I was looking for was, I was going to set this one aside. Nothing wrong with it. It's one of my favorites, but I'd like to have two because I want something for daily wear that's just not quite so big. It's just too heavy. So I thought, well, let's try Timex out, right? I was looking around on Amazon, and I saw this one, and I thought, man, that is a handsome watch, isn't it? That's good looking. Very traditional, classic dials. Got the Arabic numbers there. We got the 24-hour military time, which is really nice. Me not being for some reason, I have a hard time with that calculation under stress. People are saying 2100, and I'm thinking, so I really appreciate having the numbers on there. I can quickly look at that, and I like that 24-hour time. I don't know why I have such trouble with that. Good-looking case, clean lines. Timex, I mean, keeps on ticking, right? Takes a lick and keeps on ticking. Wasn't that their motto? Kind of, originally an American made, no longer. How long do you think this watch lasted before the crown fell off and it quit working? Any guesses? How about 8 days? 8 days and the Timex Fayette. Granted, it's not a super expensive watch, $40 or so, but you can get a G-Shock for $60, the classic. They still make this one. G-Shocks, and on G-Shocks for a minute, if you're G-Shock, if you're watching, if you're a designer of the G-Shocks, your watches are completely ridiculous. They are so over the top, and they have so many ridiculous gizmos and all those things on there. It's embarrassing. It's the worst thing ever. If I were going to buy a G-Shock, I would get the classic one. I mean, at least that's kind of cool. Those other ones with all the dials and the whiz bangs, I can't stand those watches. They're terrible. So I thought this one looked really nice, but so it totally failed on me. It's absolutely useless. And so was this a one-off? Was this just an accident? Are the rest of them all good? Well, Mrs. W, she was looking at mine, and it was a good price point, so she ordered one running watch. And of course, within 3 or 4 days, I think 2 days, it failed as well, and she had to send it back. So Timex, I don't know. I mean, it's not a completely comprehensive test, but I would say that it's rubbish. All right, so is that it? Yeah, okay, so fast forward. So then I was looking. So once my Timex died, I really liked this look. I liked the feel and the size of it, and I thought, this is what I want. This is exactly what I want, but I want a high-quality version of it. So went online and did lots of research. Here's what I came up with. And I couldn't be happier with this wonderful watch. A Hamilton. Hamilton started out as an American company making watches, pocket watches, I believe, for the railroad and for the military. They made a lot of the watches for the government and for GIs during the Second World War, and they were very much revered and loved for their durability. They were a solid watch, an automatic watch. They were tough. They were easy to read. They had the simple, clean date. They had the military. I mean, the original ones are very simple. From the 30s and 40s, I guess, look very similar to this. And this is a brand new one. And this is a beautiful watch. And for the money, for what you get, it is quite a good value. What do you have here? You've got a Swiss-made watch. All of the movement, a tried and tested Swiss-made movement installed in Switzerland. We've got a beautiful dome sapphire crystal, which is going to be highly scratch resistant. And what a nice contrast. What an easy, simple, pleasing watch to look at on the eyes, isn't it? Clean, classic, nice little details. You've got the H, the Hamilton, on the crown. Screw on back. This is not going to be your hardcore diver's watch like the Marathon is, or 300 meter or some ridiculous thing. But I don't plan on going 300 meters in my everyday dealings in life. Isn't that beautiful? Love the green face. What a great watch. So this watch, this is different than the Marathon, this being an automatic, meaning self-winding. This is one of my favorite parts of this watch. It's just like my granddad's old watches. I remember him doing this, self-winding. So you wind it yourself. It's like that, back and forth. Isn't it charming? I mean, that's so much nicer than the digital age. Yeah, I mean, of course, it's if everything being completely practical. I mean, how can you argue against a G-Shock? You can't. You couldn't make the argument for durability, value, toughness, reliability. You can't. But it's not the same. It's not the same, I mean, it's what does Nothing Fancy say? The second kind of cool. This has the second kind of cool for me. This is something I look at it and it gives me the fizz, It gives me I enjoy it. Watching the second hand and all that. So I really like this. I really like this watch. And so these can be had. This one was like 200 and I think it was like right around $250. I've got these in my Amazon store. I've got this watch here, the Marathon, which is your extreme duty. If you don't mind a heavy watch, I mean, this is a wonderful watch. And then I've got this one here, the Hamilton, the khaki, right there. So here's your $900 option if you want something that's a little, well, I don't know, I don't know what you need, what your needs are, but I think for most of us, something like this, $250 range, what a nice little watch, and that's what you're going to pay for a nice knife, and something you just get so much pleasure out of. I really, really have enjoyed this watch. I've worn it every day for a week, and it's a whole different experience than this one. This one is very bulky, very heavy in there. So we're getting long here. Let's talk about bands, because just as important as the watch, I think, is the band. My favorite bands for so many reasons. I mean, talk about a company that's got it right, are these Zulu bands. Be careful when you're ordering these on Amazon. I've got the right one in my store, the one that you want. They're not expensive, but the knockoffs, they don't have a very soft nylon, and it will not break in, and the edges are sharp, and it's very uncomfortable. This is much softer, more supple, and seems to hold its color better, and it has a high quality buckles on it. So why I like this. I think this is the best band there is out there. I find rubber ones, leather is okay, but leather is, it's just not for me. So here's some of the features why I like this here. Okay, so it's kind of a complicated thing, and I don't know exactly why they had to do it this way. But which one should we put on there? We'll put the Marathon on there. It's kind of a stunner there, that watch. So what's so good about these, and why I lost my Tag Heuer, which is another fine Swiss watch. Well, maybe not so fine. Why did the bracelet break and I lose it? If I would have had this band, I wouldn't have lost it, because what it does is it gives you redundancy. These little pins in here are called spring pins, and make sure you get high quality ones. Don't buy the cheap ones on eBay. Get the high quality ones, because the cheap ones will break. What it does is, now if you lose a spring pin, you won't lose your watch. You've got a backup, because if one comes loose, the watch will simply flop on the band. Where traditional bands, if one of these comes off, like my watch, then the whole watch falls off and you lose it. There's no backup system. So this is a great system, and then this loops back through here like that. And now you have, it does hold the watch off your arm a little bit. I have noticed that. Not such a big deal with the smaller watches, but this gets the metal off your skin. It's far enough away where you're not, when you're in the cold. Have you ever been in really cold climate with a big hunk of metal like this on your arm? It's very uncomfortable, and that changes that completely. And then, of course, it just latches like your normal watch. Now these when I first got this, I didn't like the look of these double rings here. You can even see I even took my side cutters there, because I was going to cut it off. But I have found that I like them. They hold the band much more, they hold the tail much more securely. It never comes out. And you can kind of split those like that. And it looks a little weird. It's a little bit much, but I think it's really good. The other thing I like about these is that the buckle is on the front, up here towards the front. And so what that is really nice for is when you're typing on your keyboard. Because I had a watch that has a traditional buckle right here in the bottom, and the buckle, when you're on your laptop, it drags all over it, and you end up having to take your watch off, and it's really a hassle. You don't have that with this, because you have the nylon coming in contact with the bottom of the computer, your laptop specifically. You don't have that problem. It moves everything up here to the front. So you get a very good looking, handsome buckle. You can get, or watch strap, you can get these in all colors. And it's very, very comfortable, the most comfortable to wear of anything I've ever had before. And it looks pretty smart. And you have that safety feature of you're not going to lose your watch, and then the ability to get that hunk of metal off of your arm as well. So a big fan of those Zulu bands. So what would I recommend of the two? Well, if I had to keep only one, I mean, if it's not job specific, if it's like I got to keep only one, I'd keep both. I'm sorry, I can't decide. Just can't decide. They're both such nice, beautiful watches. But that Hamilton is cool. I mean, such a rich history. Um, Made by a Swiss company. I think the Swatch Group owns it. They own Omega, I believe. Several. I mean, really nice. The box that came in was beautiful. I mean, it was a great gift. You want a Father's Day gift for a loved one? Um, get him or her the Hamilton khaki, the winder. They make an automatic as well. It's a couple $100 more. But the winding, I think, is I like that. I like doing it. It's something I look forward to in the morning. Winding the watch. I prefer. I'd have to say, oh, they're both beautiful. So that's it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys on the next video.